Okay, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Chasing the Monster podcast alongside Luis Gomez. I'm David Karras, and we have a special episode for you today. We're going to be recapping the 2025 Red Sox season as a whole, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Playoff baseball is still going on. We have at the time of recording this, the Mariners are up 2 games over the Toronto Blue Jays in the ALCS, and the Dodgers just beat the Brewers last night to go up 1-0 in the NLCS. So, pretty interesting stuff there, even though the Red Sox have been out for almost 2 weeks now, unfortunately, from the playoff picture. I still have been enjoying playoff baseball. Really, for me, before we get into this recap, Lewis, of the season, for me, it's just anyone but the Dodgers can win the World Series, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, the same way. The same way. I'm rooting for the Brewers and the Blue Jays. I'm rooting for them as well because they eliminated the Yankees. So I'm definitely rooting for them as well. But I'm also happy with the Mariners are doing, bro. Like they have never won the World Series before, so I think they deserve it, and the Brewers as well. But also, whoever wins, I'm happy. But I said I don't want the Dodgers to win. I'm just tired of the Dodgers at this point, man.
And I'm also worried that if the Dodgers win, I read a very interesting article from Jeff Passan on ESPN yesterday where if the Dodgers win the World Series again, this could be very bad for the future of baseball because the collective bargaining agreement between the players union and the owners expires after the 2026 season. So we could very
Oof.
well be heading to a lockout again in 2027, and there could be no baseball in 2027. And if the Dodgers win, the owners are going to use that to say the Dodgers are buying championships, we need a salary cap. But if any other team wins, the union can say, well, the Dodgers can spend all the money they want, but look, they didn't win the championship in back-to-back seasons. So they've only won two with all this money they've spent. So
No, yeah.
I think the future of baseball is honestly on the line potentially with this playoff run to see who wins the championship. Because I think no matter what, there's going to be some form of a lockout in 2027, but it may be like the last lockout, excuse me, where they figure it out and they figure it out in like early March and they don't lose too much of the season, like what happened in 2022.
Mhm.
That's what I hope is the best case scenario. I think we're heading for a lockout regardless, but if the Dodgers win the World Series this year, I think we could look at potentially losing months, maybe if not the whole 2027 season, because the owners want a salary cap badly, but the players' union will probably never agree to that.
I mean, yeah, because that's not like what makes you think like the Dodgers won a salary cap. Like you get me?
They
No, it
definitely
makes
don't want a salary cap. Right.
yeah. So definitely it shouldn't be like that. But I mean, hopefully it doesn't go that way. You get me? But I'm just rooting for the Dodgers to fall, like because even though they go to the playoff literally every single year, it's not like they always win every year. You get me? They literally just they won in 2020, and that was like a short season. And next championship came in 2024. See what I mean? Like they're not consistent with winning. They have a pretty good chance though. Like they have a really nasty lineup, but hopefully it doesn't go that way, man. It's bad. It's bad that it's always like feel at this point feels like it's literally all the major league teams against one team. You get me?
Well,
But hopefully they choke or something because it will be bad.
the worst thing for baseball would be a lockout happening because baseball has
Mhm.
become a lot more popular the last few years. Like ever since the introduction of the pitch clock, all these new other rules to help speed up the game. I
Yeah.
next year the automated balls and strikes challenge system is going to be a huge hit for baseball as well. Like people are tuning into games. More people are going to games. I've had friends and family members who have never paid attention to baseball before talking to me about baseball this year. So the worst thing to happen for the sport would be a lockout to halt all this momentum that the sport is getting over the
Yeah,
last years.
or like a delayed opening day. Like that would really suck because you expect the Red Sox to be playing in April, at the end of March, and that would be just it kind of sucked when it happened in 2022. I literally like waiting the whole year, and then you have to wait extra time. You get me? Like that really sucked, but hopefully they start working on that soon, and not wait for it to come. You get me? Like maybe they could start working on that right now and try to have things figured out. Because man, it's like us as fans, we don't want like to be waiting, especially when it's already April, when it's already May. I mean,
So I did read somewhere that negotiations can start like very early 2026. So hopefully
so, yeah,
they just work on it because it's just a dark cloud over the sport. I don't know if they'll reach a resolution right away though, because the owners, the last one got super ugly, and luckily they got to an agreement in like the middle of March, and we had a shortened spring training. We were able
yeah.
to start on time, but I don't know. This one could get really ugly, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Back to the Red Sox. So let's rewind this a little bit. So at the end of the 2024 season, the Red Sox finished at 81-81. Another fun team to watch in the first half, as was the few seasons prior. 2022, 2023, and 2024. There was a lot of hope with those teams heading into the All-Star break. And every single one of those teams crashed out and burned after the All-Star break. And the big we knew heading into the offseason this time last year, the Red Sox needed to get an ace. So let's rewind about 10 months ago on, I believe it was December 11th, 2024, where the Red Sox acquired Garrett Crochet from the Chicago White Sox. We paid a pretty penny to get Garrett Crochet. We gave up some great prospects, Montgomery, who we had just drafted, Kyle Teal, Medroth, what's his name? The one that starts with a W that we traded, Wilkman.
Yeah.
We gave up four really good prospects, and like personally, I was most bummed about giving up Teal because I wanted to see Teal up here. I mean, now kind of having a little bit of wondering what if. Imagine if we had Narvaez and Teal behind the plate. That'd be an amazing 1-2 tandem behind home plate, in my opinion. But
Hmm.
obviously now, 10 months later, we all love the trade. I think the White Sox love the trade probably, and the Red Sox definitely love the trade. But when you got the news 10 months ago that the Red Sox acquired Garrett Crochet, you got that breaking news notification on your phone. What was your reaction?
I was at. It was literally my girlfriend's birthday the very next day, so I was getting. I paid for her. I took her to the hair salon, and I was literally just waiting outside, and I see this notification like boom. And it was such a crazy, like, it was really crazy. I wasn't expecting that because it was like 11 o'clock in the morning or 12, around that time. And one day before, if I'm not mistaken, Max Fried signed. And we were literally, I guess we were trying to sign Max Fried really bad, but he went with the Yankees. But, at that point, I was like, oh man, like, who are we going to get? Like, I don't know. Who I like out of all the free agents, I liked Max Fried. You get me out of all of them. So at that time, I wasn't guessing like we would do a trade. I don't know. So because it didn't look like we were being aggressive. If I'm not mistaken, this was in the winter meetings.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it was. So I was like, okay, so what do we have to do? Like I'm just like waiting to see. Hopefully, we got something done, and that really catch me by surprise. Like boom, you get me? Like it was 11 o'clock, I think, and I see that notification. Griffin starts calling me. Yeah, no way we did this. And Griffin was doing a podcast for the Celtics Nation Rise. So I remember Griffin's like, "Hey, do this video." I did the video on my phone on my car, talking about the trade, and but it caught me by surprise. It was such a finally we did something good because we did like a good move because we haven't done like a good move in so long. You get me? We haven't like traded for someone for a elite player like Crochet. You get me? So it was such a like they're actually they're actually trying. They're really trying to. They're trying to like to get the team better, and I was such a. I'm like, oh my god, that's like a sign that the ownership is willing to do something because they haven't been doing nothing for the last 3 years. You get me? We haven't. We've just been like suffering, waiting for the right moment, and literally they did what they had to, and I'm not gonna lie. Even though we gave away some good prospects, but I prefer Crochet, man. Crochet is different. That's a real ace, and I'm happy with Crochet, man. Even though at that time I was like, he was from the White Sox, so I didn't know that much of him, like personality wise. I didn't know him like that. But I'm so happy with who because I like how he is. I like his personality, and he's nasty.
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling we would end up with Crochet because if I remember correctly, we tried super hard to get him at the deadline in 2024, but it didn't work out. And people forget too. I just got reminded of this yesterday. Maybe it was a bit of a panic move from Breslow, but it was a good panic move because after, like you said, Lewis, Fried signed with the Yankees, Breslow made that trade happen overnight. Like that wasn't something that the Red Sox and White Sox were talking about for weeks at a time. He literally just got on the phone with the White Sox overnight and basically said, "What do I need to do to get Crochet?" And when that notification hit for me, I was pumped. I mean, it moved the needle for me a little bit. I was just happy we had an ace in Boston. Like, I never thought it would be this incredible. And like, I don't think any of us could have imagined Crochet to be this awesome in his first season here. I thought he'd be great, but I mean, he's probably going to finish second in Cy Young voting behind Scooble. But I mean, that trade is forever going to be worth it for his performance in Game One against the.
Yeah,
So
like at that, it's literally the same way. At that point, I was like, hopefully, Crochet is worth it for the prospects that we gave away. But you saw the results this year. You get me? We would not go to playoff if he wasn't in the team.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
and so it's worth it. And we didn't have to give away. We only had to give away Kyle Teal out of the big like we didn't have to give away Christian Campbell, Roman Anthony or Marcelo Meyer. You get me? Those are the type of players wanna you don't wanna avoid them in trades.
definitely. So yeah, I was pumped about that trade at the time. I was a fan of it, but it didn't move the needle entirely for me for the 2025 Red Sox team at the time. For me, it wasn't until the Alex Bregman signing that happened 2 or 3 months later where I really started to buy in on this Red Sox team potentially being a playoff team. Now,
Mm.
obviously, this Bregman free agency last year was drawn out, down to the wire. Didn't seem like he was ever going to return to the Astros, but it seemed like maybe he was going to go to the Tigers. Like, I did not think he would come to the Red Sox. And I remember it being a late Sunday night around like 10:30 or 11 where I got the notification that Bregman was going to
I
go to the Sox. And
was playing Fortnite
you were playing Fortnite.
with my girlfriend, yeah.
So
And when that happened, I literally stopped playing Fortnite right away.
I was like passed out on my couch in my living room, and I just happened to open up my phone. I see notifications from all my friends saying, "Holy bleep, we got Bregman, we got Bregman." Then I see the contract or I didn't even care about the contract details. I'm like, we just got a two-time World Series champion, Gold Glove winning third baseman on our team. Like this changes everything. And
Yeah.
the contract at the time I thought was interesting, and we'll see what happens with Bregman this offseason. We'll talk about that in another video. But what were you? What was your general reaction when we signed Bregman?
I really like the contract, even though we have to overpay. But I like what Craig Breslow did. I rather overpay than have him for 6 years. Like, you want him for like in his prime. He's 31 years old right now, so you don't want a 35-year-old Bregman. You get me? And thinking like business wise, like that was such a good move. Like, okay, I don't want to have this player for 6, 7 years. So it's better to overpay. And he's supposed to be getting paid 40 million per year, but there's also some deferrals, so it's like 25, I'm guessing, but it's a 3 year 120. You get me? That's a lot of money for 3 years. So I like what they did. I prefer to do that than have a 35-year-old Bregman. You get me? It's different. Bregman at 35 is not gonna be like the same player that he was at 32 or 33. You get me? Or 31.
And it's just really unfortunate that Bregman got hurt in May of last year and missed almost 2 months because he was on a tear before his injury, and he still ended up with probably a respectable stat line. Many would argue for the whole season, but you could
Yeah.
tell he just wasn't the same player after the injury. But again, we'll talk more about this in a future video. We'll see what the future holds for the Red Sox and Alex Bregman. I hope he comes back, but we'll have to wait and see. But did that move, was it the Crochet move or the Bregman move that got you to buy in on this Red Sox team being a contender?
I'm not gonna lie. It has to be both because we won't get to the playoffs if it's not without Crochet or without Bregman.
So if it was just one or the other, so like say that we only get Crochet but no Bregman, did you still think the team can make the playoffs?
I feel like yes. I feel like we could have because even though Bregman missed a lot of games, we were still in the fight even without Bregman. You get me? And Marcelo Meyer playing third at that time before he got hurt. But you get me? Like Bayo also and Luke and Giolito also they carried us. You get me? It wasn't and Crochet definitely carried us. So it was such a at that point we were playing really good baseball on the 10 game winning streak without like Bregman. But at some point you need Bregman. But but I feel like without Bregman, we were playing really good. You get me? Bregman was more like he could make us even better. But I feel like having Crochet was better for the team. I feel like because at the end of the day, Bregman didn't play 150 games.
Wait,
He missed a lot of games, but we still ended up like even without him, we were still in the fight. You get me? We were still in the fight. So I feel like we could have made it to the playoffs. Even though Bregman he contributed a lot. He did what he had to do, but if you have to take one, then you literally have to pick. I will pick Crochet because Crochet really. I don't think we get there without Crochet, but yeah. But the Bregman situation is like also he's also getting he's getting older and older, so it's such a point of view that it's going to be like he's getting hurt every year too. So I don't know. You want to offer him that, even though this is business. I love Bregman, but it's different being in love with one player, but also you gotta think of it like a business because don't you want the best for your business? You get me? Mm, the best for your team. So yeah, I really credit Breslow for like making that deal, getting it done, even though there was people offering him 6 years or 7 years. But I also felt like Bregman, for some reason, want it. It seemed like he didn't want to go to Detroit. That's how it seemed like. He didn't want to go to Detroit. He didn't want to do that. And Fenway Park, it seems like it was built for him. You get me? That's also a point of view. Detroit, there's no Green Monster, and Chicago, there's no Green Monster. You get me? It's different. You gotta hit the ball really. It's not 310. You get me? Like a fly ball, a regular fly ball could be a double because of the Green Monster. You get me? Not at Wrigley Field or at the Tigers Field. You get me? It's just. And I feel Boston's such a good city. Why don't you wanna? Why wouldn't you pick Boston? And it seemed like he went with what he wanted, even though he wanted more years. But he's literally getting paid 120 million for 3 years. That's a lot of money. A lot of money. That's a lot of money. What was it like the offers for the other teams? I totally forgot.
None of them were ever confirmed, but I think that I believe the Astros did offer him a 6-year deal, and he turned it down.
Do you remember how much it was or no?
160 million, I think, somewhere around there. So a little less than 30 million a year.
I mean, you see what I mean? That's 160 for six
Well,
years.
it,
What
don't
and
quote me on that to any of
120
don't
for three
quote me on
years.
that to any of these viewers, but the rumor was Bregman was looking for a long-term deal last winter, and the rumor is he's potentially looking for it this winter again. So that may be why he opts out. So maybe he just didn't want to go back to Houston. Maybe that just wasn't their original offer, but or that the offer they gave him. But I remember seeing that being a rumored offer from the Astros last offseason that they gave to Bregman, and he turned it down. So
No, yeah, and I feel like another thing. I feel like he might be like no. I feel like he might not opt out because he missed a lot of games. That's like if you're trying to do a business, people that would be like people will like attack him with that. You get me? Like to try to like, oh hey, look, you've been getting hurt. You got hurt last year. I don't know. You see what I mean? That's business wide. Business wide. I feel like that might be like a situation that maybe Bregman could come back and maybe opt out next year
that's what I
and
think.
believe in himself and have a really good season and then and play all year and then opt out. I mean, I feel like that makes more sense. But even though he didn't play all year and he didn't have like he at some point he was really like struggling, especially when he came back. So I just feel like it's better for him to come back, play 1 year, try to have a really good season, and maybe test it out. But I mean, at the end of the day, if he stays with us, he's literally making 120 million for just 3 years. So that's a lot of money at the end of the day. That's a lot of money. So that shouldn't be like it's not like he's not getting paid what he's worth because he is.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Bregman. I could see what you said, Lewis, happening where he realizes that he probably won't get a ton of he could potentially not get a ton of good offers as a guy that will be 32 at the start of next season, coming off a major injury, didn't play a whole season. Maybe if he rides it out and, like you said, just opts out after next season, hopefully playing a full season healthy, then that will be his maybe last chance to get a 5 or 6 year deal. I think maybe that's what he's thinking, but we just have to remember his agent is the most player friendly or most polarizing agent in the history of baseball, Scott Boras. And you just know Scott Boras is getting into his head about opting out to try and maximize his opportunities to get a long term deal before he's too old. So it'll be interesting in that regard. But I mean, give credit to Breslow, the 3 offseason additions for the Red Sox. We didn't mention Aroldis Chapman yet. were Aroldis Chapman, Garrett Crochet, and Alex Bregman. Those three offseason additions by the Red Sox were the three representatives for the Red Sox at the 2025 All-Star Game. So, Aroldis Chapman had a fantastic season, had the best season of his career at age 37 this season, closing games for the Red Sox. We haven't really had a dominant closer like that in Boston and probably 12 years since Koji Uehara. I mean, it felt like every time Chapman came to the mound, you knew that the game was over, and we haven't felt that in a while, even with legendary closers like Kenley Jansen and Craig Kimbrell pitching for the Red Sox the last few years. It wasn't until Chapman came where he just had that factor where when you knew he was on the mound, the game was more likely than not over. So, Chapman is going to be here next season as well. Towards the end of the regular season, Craig Breslow gave him extension. So Chapman will be here with us closing games for the Red Sox for his age 38 season. But just really, I think, we're a lot of people in the community give Breslow a hard time for some of the moves he's made or some of the moves he hasn't made. But you have to give him credit for last offseason and bringing in 3 All-Stars to help get this team into the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you do. You did a good job.
So, yeah, now we'll move into the season. We're going to break this down into the good, the bad, and the ugly of the 2025 Red Sox. So, we'll start with the good. The good for us in terms of this team was, for me, a few things. First of all, we actually didn't talk about this one before we were recording, Lewis. So this is the first time you're hearing me say this one. But the contract extensions we gave to our young players, I think, is a huge W. Even the contract extension we gave to Chapman. So the big question mark right away when we signed Crochet, and this lingered through spring training, was, okay, we have our ace, but we need to lock him up because after 2 seasons, he was eligible to hit free agency. So
Yeah.
we got Crochet locked up during that Baltimore series. We gave him a great deal, 6 years, 170 million. A great deal for him. He makes 28 million a year, and a great deal for the Red Sox. I thought it was going to cost us at least 35, maybe even 40 million a year to keep Crochet. So I love that deal right away. The second one we gave out was to Christian Campbell. It's an 8-year deal worth around, I believe, 60 million. Now, the jury's still out on Christian Campbell, and I personally think that's one of the more interesting storylines of the winter for the Red Sox is how the heck does Christian Campbell fit on this major league team? Because we didn't see him at all from the end of June till the end of the season. He was in Worcester working on his game, but very good contract there. I'm still very high on Campbell. I see the potential there a lot, so hopefully the Red Sox can figure out a role for him. Then possibly the most important extension given out by the Red Sox was in later August, giving it to Roman Anthony or early September. We gave him an 8-year deal worth around 130 million, I believe, with elevations or kickers that can get it up to 240 million. Excellent deal for both parties. And then the final one was Chapman. So that was the first good part for me because we've seen so many people leave the Red Sox where it feels like the organization just could have avoided that if they just signed him to extensions. Like I go all the way back 11 years ago to John Lester. He wanted to stay in Boston. The Red Sox had the opportunity so many times to sign him to an extension, get him back in the red uniform on a hometown discount, but they screwed the pooch. They traded him, and they thought they could sign him back in free agency, and he left for the Cubs. That was the first one that hurt. The Xander Bogaerts one, it feels like we could have given him an extension at any point and avoided him leaving. I mean, obviously, we don't miss him as much as we probably thought we'd miss him 3 years after he left, but that was disappointing to see as well. But I'm just so happy, not even this season, but with last season, with how Breslow is approaching these young players and offering them extensions and locking them up and just sort of allowing us fans to breathe and not worry about all these players leaving free agency 5 to 10 years down the line. So really just another big win from Breslow with all these extensions he's giving out.
No, yeah, he's been doing his job, and that's something that we really struggled with. Like you said, like not extending Bogarts. I feel like if we would have tried to get like an extension, like not wait for them to become free agents, that would be huge for the team, and that would be like we don't have to overspend. We could have gotten them for cheaper. Like even the Mookie Betts, you don't have to wait for him to have a MVP season to offer him an extension. You get me? You don't have for like you don't have to wait for Manny Machado, Bryce Harper to get 30 million plus contracts. You get me? That's literally Mookie will see that. Mookie's like, I'm better than these guys. Like I should be getting paid around that time. You get me what I mean? If we would have tried to give him money when he was like younger, I think he could might fall for it. Even a Rafael Devers situation, we had to literally give Devers what he wanted. We literally had to give Devers what he wanted, especially because we waited so long. You get what I mean? We waited so long, and we had to keep we had to keep him at that point. He was our only superstar, so he signed a 328 minutes. I think I'm not wrong, but you see what I mean. Like I feel like Davis could have been even cheaper as well, but we waited so last minute. And as a business, they're not stupid. Davis will be like, "Oh, yeah, desperate, not desperate. Give me more money." You get me? That's it's business at the end of the day, and that's how things work. So I'm glad that we're not doing those mistakes like waiting for Garrett Crochet to be on his last year of the contract because after this amazing season that he just had, his value went up. Really, it went up really, really up. Oh, Roman Anthony, then you see what I mean? He's crossed. We don't have to wait for him to be a superstar in his last year of arbitration to offer him more money because it could have been even. We're talking probably like if he becomes the superstar that we're like hoping that he turns into, we're talking about what 500 millions of dollars, 400 millions. Yeah, instead we got him for 130. Like that's a pretty good mind. We learn from our mistakes. That's what I like, and I love that we are like taking advantage of that. You get me? Because we learn from our own like from mistakes, and hopefully we just keep doing that. Campbell is also like Campbell as well, Rafaela as well, Brian Bayo as well. Like we have all of them are signed already. Like that's a good thing. That's really good. We literally learn from our own mistakes.
Right. Now, the other another good part of this Red Sox season that we both agree on is the fact that the Red Sox played a lot better at home this season. Now, that was a big missed opportunity in 2024, and I remember Alex Cora saying that in his end of season press conference that moving forward the team needs to play so much better at home. And they did just that. So,
Yeah.
2024 at Fenway Park, the Red Sox had a record of 38 and 43. In 2025, the Red Sox had a record of 48 and 33 at home. So we were 10 games better at home this season. And also, there just felt like some magic at Fenway this season, too. We had 12 walk-off wins. We had walk-off wins in every single month of the season: April, May, June, July, August, September. It was just a magical season in that regard. You could just feel the energy. Like later in the summer, like when the Red Sox, even right after the Red Sox went on that 10-game winning streak, from that point on, Fenway felt packed every night throughout the summer. I'd never heard
Yeah.
Fenway. It'd been years since I've heard Fenway that loud this summer. So that just goes to show, like you talked about earlier, Lewis, when ownership commits to winning and when we're actually putting a winning product on the field, the fans are going to repay the team by showing up and being loud, even in random regular season games in July and August. And I was just really happy to see all the magic at Fenway this season. I mean, the last walk off could potentially be. I mean, the last walk off just culminated everything in the season. Rafaela being as clutch as he was all season, getting that hit, and then Cora coming over to hug him, us walking off on the Tigers to clinch the playoff spot, and then go celebrate the crap out of it in the locker room. Like that was just awesome. So I think we led the league in walk-off wins, or we were tied for the lead with walk-off wins. We had 12 of them this season. So it's just great to see all the magic. I personally went to one of the walk-off wins. I was at the Tristan Casas one very early in the season, way back in middle of April against the Rays. But, it's just good for camaraderie and just really good job for the Red Sox playing well at home this year when we needed to. But we can't be satisfied with 1 year playing well at home. Like if we want to continue to be a contender, we need to keep making Fenway a very tough place to play.
No, I mean, yeah, that's very true. You even said it. They do something good in the off season. You saw how Fenway Park was being sold out every day. You see what I mean? That's like, hopefully the ownership sees that and they be like, we gotta, we gotta, we gotta do more for our fan base. You get me? They were there when we, even though this season it wasn't only all about like winning. It was a roller coaster. At some point, we were like losing so much. You get me? At some point, I remember this quote from Rob Snyder. I don't know exactly how he said it, but he literally said like, "I'm tired of losing." Because
Yeah.
at some point, it was actually getting tiring. At some point, I would just turn on the TV, and I would literally like, even though the game hasn't started yet, but I felt we were gonna lose. We were playing terrible baseball. We weren't hitting the fastball for some reason. But at some point we turned the pace. We did different. But it wasn't all about like winning, just winning. It wasn't just all about good moments. There was bad moments as well, and this proves that even though there was bad moments, we were still there. We still supported the team, and when there was the good moments, we were even there even more for the team. So hopefully the ownership sees this. Like they're like, okay, even though it was a roller coaster, we were still got support. Imagine that we go crazy in the free and like in the off season and got a bunch of players. You get me? So hopefully they see that and they're like they decide to go even crazier because at the end of the day, even they go even if they get even more people, trust me, the more packed Fenway is going to be. Either way more packed and it doesn't matter if the tickets like prices go up. It doesn't matter. As long the team as long they do their job in the off season, I don't care if the tickets are like really expensive. We will still show up. That's how we are.
Winning cures everything in Boston. Winning is the best
Yeah.
medicine for everything in Boston. Um, yeah, just again, I hope that continues. But I hope we're talking next year at this time about the Red Sox playing ALCS baseball at Fenway Park. That would just be incredible. So hopefully at this time next year we get playoff baseball back at Fenway. That's now the next goal for this team. But
Yeah.
the other good thing, a final good thing that we want to talk about with this Red Sox team in 2025 is how well the young players developed up at the major league level. Now, obviously, we all know Roman Anthony was great. We could go on for hours to talk about Roman Anthony, and he will be the leader of this Red Sox team in the future. He was incredible in the short, whatever it was, 70 games that he played before his injury up at the major league level with the Red Sox. He flirted with an on base percentage of in the 400s multiple times. That is insane for a 21-year-old kid to basically have 40% of his at bats end with him getting on base. And we're just so excited for the future with them. But we could go on and talk about his development, Roman Anthony, already at such a young age at the major league level. He's just going to be so much fun to watch for years to come. The
Yeah.
second thing, another player that stuck out to me is, even though we only saw him towards the end, is Connolly Early. Like, I think we saw enough from Conley early and whatever it was, those 4 or 5 starts to be convinced that he could be our starting pitcher number 5 in the rotation. Um, we saw a guy like Peyton Tolley come up in September as well. I personally think he'll spend at least a little bit of time in Worcester to start up next season, but he should be in the mix by the middle of next season. There's a lot of potential there. It'll be interesting to see if they view him as a starter or reliever long term, but that's another young guy we have to look forward to. And, he did have a hot and cold season, a very up and down season, but the guy we just talked about a little bit, Sadon Rafaela, was incredible this season. The walk-off hits, he had 3 walk-off hits, which was the most in the MLB by a single player. It felt like every time we need something clutch or to start a rally, Rafaela was the one doing it. He was super hot from July into August. And I mean, he did kind of get cold towards the end of the season, but he continues to play excellent defense. He continues to play wherever the team needs him to, whether it be second base or center field. So just so much credit to Rafael as well. And he's another one who you talked about, Lewis, who got an extension, almost 2 years ago now. And that extension is going to age like fine wine because of how team friendly it was. So for me, we'll see how these guys perform next year. But I was just impressed with how much all the young guys stepped up to the plate, especially when we needed them to. I mean, asking Roman Anthony to carry this team to the playoffs seemed like a tall task right after we traded Rafael Devers in the middle of June, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I mean, Roman Anthony for the 70 games again that he was up here at the big league level is incredible. And it was just fun to watch all these young guys grow and show that the future is going to be bright in Boston.
Mhm. I mean, also another thing, even though Rafaela he wasn't like Roman Anthony coming up, but the good thing about this is that I feel like he's getting better throughout the years. Like he was better in 2022 he was like okay. In 2023 you saw in 2024 I mean you saw how he was. He did way better than 2024. He came in he came in stronger. He was hitting better. So I just feel he could keep building that, you get me? Getting better and better because he's really young, and I feel like Rafaela could be really good at some point. And everyone's different at their developments. You get me? Not everyone develops the same way, but if he develops, if he keeps doing like that, performing better and better every single year, we're gonna get a better Rafaela. You get me? Because he's really young. I think he's only 24, so we should be fine. He should be fine because he's doing better and better every year. And Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, they know how it is in the big leagues now. They got experience, so now they're gonna come even bigger, even stronger, and they have experience. That's what matters the most. They know how the big league works. It's so different when you're just like a prospect in AAA, and then like they call you up. You gotta figure things out. But now he's like he knows what he has to do, especially now that you saw how amazing he did with like literally in his rookie year. You get me? So imagine now that he's a pro, and now that he knows how the major league is, and he could come even bigger, even stronger, even better for next, even more prepared. You get me all to play every game, every day. But I feel like that as an organization, we took a step forward because we literally had the same team in 2024 and we were short from playoffs. But we literally, with the same team, with no Rafael Devers, we took a step forward to postseason, something that we haven't seen in 4 years. So now, hopefully, we just gotta like add players, add talented players, and we should be totally fine. But I feel like it's a good situation to be in right now, especially in Boston.
So now we'll unfortunately move on to the bad. And some things definitely were bad with the Red Sox this season. And definitely it got exposed in the playoff run for sure against New York Yankees. This is the main thing that was bad for me. It's just the situational baseball. I'm talking runners in scoring position. So there is some good in this. I'm looking at Baseball Reference for the statistic. The Red Sox had 1,740 plate appearances this regular season with runners in scoring position. That was the most in the MLB. So that's good, getting an opportunities to have runners in scoring position. That's a positive. Here's
Hmm.
what's bad. The Red Sox struck out with runners in scoring position 394 times. That was also worse. That was worse than the MLB. That was the most strikeouts in the MLB with runners in scoring position. And that was 31 strikeouts more than the next closest team, being the New York Yankees, with 363 strikeouts. So we were striking out right around 22, 23% of the time we had runners in scoring position. So that's something for me, Lewis, that needs to change next year. Is if, you know, we can't always drive runners in scoring position. You're going to have games and you're going to have situations where you leave runners on base when you hope that you can cash in on them scoring. But at least make contact with the ball to at least give them a chance to score. Because if you're striking out, you can't do anything. So that needs to be lower next year. We need to be striking out less and making more contact with runners in scoring position.
Oh yeah, that's true. You saw how at some point we were really struggling that bad that I'm always literally like striking out when we needed like to pull the ball just in play. Like we could have I remember there's been series that we could have like walked it off, but we had the winning run at third, but we couldn't put the ball in play. We would just strike out. So that's something that we gotta try to be better in, but also, we learn from those mistakes and hopefully we work on them in the off season and try to become better hitters at the end of the day, like that's what we could do. We have to learn and also bring the right people to the team. You get me? Like I know. I mean, if you look at the Blue Jays literally always put the ball in play. You get me? That's how they literally beat the Yankees. That's how they literally did. You get me? I mean, when you put the ball in play instead of striking out, anything could happen. You pressure them to do their plays. You get me? And that's something that it's so simple, like in the sport, like, but that's something that could really help you in playoffs because you always got to build pressure.
That's where a guy like Masataka Yoshida could keep adding value to this team because of what you just said and what we've been talking about, where Yoshida, I think that fans are split on him in the fan base with the Red Sox, where some love him, some want him traded. But what you
Mhm.
can't deny is the fact that he usually puts the ball in play. Like, it's very rare that Yoshida strikes out. And he did that all in the Yankees series. He did that to end the season, the regular season, that is. Whether it be an out or not, Yoshida was very good at putting the ball in play. So that's where I wonder if he's going to stay on this team and have value in that regard moving forward with this Red Sox team. It's just his ability to put the ball in play because that could be his saving grace. I personally don't think he's going to get traded because his contract is probably not appealing to any other MLB team given his output as well. But that's where I could see Yoshida continuing to add value with this team. It's just when you get him up to the plate, he's probably going to find a way to put the ball in play.
I mean, yeah, yeah, you saw it in the postseason.
Right.
The last game that we played, he literally got two base hits. Meanwhile, the team struck out 12 times. You see what I mean? Like that's key. That's key. It's nice having power hitters. I mean, but we also gotta cut the strikeouts, and hopefully we work on that this year. You get what I mean? Especially on the fastball. We struggle with the fastball all year. At some point, we did better with it, but in the beginning, you remember we couldn't hit fastballs. We couldn't hit fastballs at all. So hopefully, we just you know, um, try to be better with it. But I remember that we struggled literally all year, man, and it was just bad.
Right. So hopefully that can be corrected next season. And now we're actually going to move into the ugly part. There's two parts of this ugly section of the Red Sox 2025 season. The first one that we can talk about, Lewis, I'll actually let you take over this one because you're very passionate about this moment in the Red Sox season, the Rafael Devers saga. So I'm gonna give you the floor here to tell us all about what went wrong with Devers this season, what your thoughts are on that whole situation in the moment, and what your thoughts are on that situation now, nearly 4 months removed from it. But take it away and just talk about how ugly this Devers situation got with Boston.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie with you. Um, I was such a. I always wanted to be like. I always wanted Devers to be part of this team. I mean, he was from 2018 World Series. He was literally. He had the experience. He knows how it is to win a World Series. But also, it's such a. How can I say it? It's such a sad moment to see what happened and with him and stuff. I feel like it didn't feel like he was the normal Devers that we knew from years ago. So it's like just knowing that things didn't work out with him, man, it kind of sucks because I feel like it could have been so different if we had Devers. You get me? It could have been such a big different story if we literally had Devers because Devers is such a good player. You know it. He's a Yankee killer. He's like perfect. You get me? Perfect thing. Perfect. Like after Big Poppy retirement, of course we have like literally mini Big Poppy. You get me? But it's such a story that I'm not gonna lie with you. When this happened, I was when the whole drama started at first. I was literally super upset, man, because it's like you don't want to upset the superstar player on your team, but at some point I thought he will be like fine. You get me? I will do whatever for the team, but even though you don't want to get rid of your superstar, I also learned by time that I'd rather have someone that will do anything for the team than just care about himself. You get what I mean? And I literally had to learn that by time, especially with when we traded Devers. We were doing so good as a team. We were doing really good at that moment. We swept the Yankees. Perfect. Like it was such a perfect timing, like to keep building. And we're like, okay, let's keep playing really good. So at this point, I was such a really happy with what I was seeing. But then, man, it was just so. After this trade, I literally lost faith on the team because, come on, we just lost our best player, our best hitter at that time. Roman Anthony was still, he was still like figuring things out. You get me? So it's not like easy. You get me? It's not like easy. Like we don't want Roman Anthony to feel pressured. Like, oh, we need you to go off. We need you to start performing like Devers. Like you got me. You didn't want to rush him like that because he's still trying to figure out the big leagues, and he wasn't like doing that good yet. But at that moment, I was just like, oh man, how come we couldn't like figure things out with this man, bro? Like how couldn't we? It felt like really like come on, how couldn't we not figure things out? But at the end of the day, things did work out for us. Even though at that time I was like so weird, I felt so weird about the situation. I literally lost faith because I mean, come on, we were already struggling at that time. So what makes you think we will be fine? Literally, like losing our superstar player. You know what I mean, makes no sense. It's hard to believe that we will be fine with no Devers. It's hard to believe it, but I like that. We still figure it out. We came through this team. Roman Anthony became a beast, and I love to see that we made it to the postseason even without Devers, and it shows that maybe Devers was wrong in this situation, man. And I felt like he was being selfish. He didn't think about, he wasn't willing to do anything for the team. I mean, that's how it seemed like from his point of view. Even though he's never been like a team leader, he's always been like himself guy. But When you pay a lot of millions to a player, you don't expect like to him to make shows. You get me what I mean? At least keep things to yourself. You don't have to go into the press conference and make a show, make more drama. Like, come on, we don't need that, especially when the team is doing terrible. You get me? But because they weren't doing that good with him at the end of the day. But I feel like if he was willing to do anything, like a Bryce Harper used to play outfield. Now he plays first. You see what I mean? And Mookie Betts is literally playing shortstop for the Dodgers, and he's a Gold Glover, a six-time Gold Glover at right field. It could have been so different if he was just like a player that I'm willing to do anything to win, especially him because he was willing. He didn't he want us. He didn't he want the ownership to try to get players to win. The ownership did that for him, but come on, he acted like a little kid, and I saw it got so bad that we had to send him away, and you could tell the ownership didn't want to send him away. You could tell the ownership tried to, but the ownership at some point got tired of it because, like, come on, at the end of the day, Devers is an employee and he's getting paid, and come on, so you have to make a show like that. Come on, I don't know who you think he was at that time, but I'm not. I'm gonna tell you this: if the better baseball players are willing to do it, better baseball players are better than him are willing to do it. So why can't he? You get me? He's not any else. He's not different. I saw Aaron Judge at some point in 2022 before he got in 2023, I think, or 22. He was he was catching ground balls at first, even though he never played first base. But he was catching ground balls at first, taking reps. You see what I mean? Aaron Judge is willing to do that for his team to win. Devers couldn't do that for us. Devers had to act like a little kid, literally. But at the end of the day, I'm happy. Maybe it was the best thing that could have happened to us, getting Devers out of the way. You get me? I'd rather imagine we try to force him to play first. Imagine how unhappy he will be and stuff like that. You get me? Oh, now Costas will be back next year. I could imagine like how much drama it could be. You get me? So maybe that was the best situation for Devers to leave. You get me? But at that moment, I wasn't happy, but now with what I see, I know that it wasn't the right choice. He wasn't willing to do anything for the Boston Red Sox. They were just thinking of himself. And now he's willing to do anything for the Giants, a team that literally hasn't done nothing for his whole career. You get me? I mean, what? Devers already was a superstar when he went to the Giants, and he's willing to do anything for that organization. Come on, man. You gotta you gotta step up and be. You gotta be better. But hopefully he learns. He didn't pop some champagne this year, so he was literally watching us popping champagnes without him. He probably thought he was gonna be the one popping champagne. I'll be popping bottles. He's popping bottles at his home though.
So the whole saga started in February of last year, where, as you said, Devers and the whole organization had hoped for us to get some winning players, but it seemed as if Devers was rubbed the wrong way from Bregman being signed by the Red Sox because Bregman is a third baseman by trade, and Devers is a third baseman, and he takes a lot of pride in his position. But we all knew that this could get ugly after we signed Bregman because the best move, what Devers thought was the best move, was having him play third and Bregman move to second. But we all knew the move to be
Uh,
Devers DH and Bregman playing third because Devers is an amazing bat, probably one of a top 10, top 15 bat in the league.
oh yeah, he is. He is for sure.
He is one of the worst fielders in the MLB.
Yeah,
So
and I'm not gonna lie, it probably could have worked out.
it definitely could. I mean, it did. It was
If
starting to.
Bregman went to second,
We would have.
Devers would have never been bothered. So he would have been fine, I guess. It would have been fine, but just because look, I'm not gonna lie with you, Campbell. You look at this. Campbell at some point wasn't with us. The reason why Devers went to the DH is to put Campbell at second and move Bregman to third. Bregman was literally down to do anything. That's the type of baseball player I want. That is literally wanting to do anything for the ball club. You get me? Not because of him. Oh, I signed here. Imagine Bregman comes in. "Oh, I'm getting paid a lot of money here. I'm not gonna play second." Can you imagine that? It's bad. It's bad for the team as well. And hopefully we see this and we be like, okay, you see what I mean? Like it could have probably worked out if we never brought up Campbell. It could have probably worked out, but maybe and then at some point it will be a mess. It will be a mess because then like and Casas got hurt and Bregman got hurt as well. So maybe at some point we would bring Campbell and Marcelo Meyer because Casas and and Bregman was hurt. Imagine we try to ask Devers to play first, and you already know how like
Which we did.
childish he was with that thing. You get me? He didn't. You already know how he was. So he probably would have said no at that moment, and it would have started a problem either way.
Yeah, it was just ugly, and it was definitely a dark cloud that hung over the Red Sox team from end of February till when we traded him in the middle of June. Like you said, Lewis, I do think it was the best thing for all parties involved for this trade to happen. It was clear Devers did not want to be here anymore. Maybe he had some issues with management as well, specifically Breslow, and he was looking to move on. And for Breslow and the ownership side, they had tried to hear him out and work with them. But after meeting with them to ask him to play first base, it seemed like that they were not going to reach a resolution. They should go their separate ways. The timing of the trade was terrible, coming off a sweep of the Yankees, Devers homering in that game. The Red Sox, I think,
His last at bat is a homer. Yeah,
his last at bat as a homer. I think we were on a 5-game winning streak at that point. The timing of the trade was horrendous, and it remains to be seen how that return will pan out that we got for Devers, because obviously Jordan Hicks was disastrous in these first few months with the Red Sox. We traded James Tibbs for Dustin May at the deadline.
yeah.
Didn't do too much. Jose Bayo has a long way to go before maybe he even pans before he's even considered to make it to the big leagues. He's still, I think, in Double A or Single A, and he's a relief pitcher. So there's still a lot of question marks
Yeah,
in terms of the return, but I don't blame Devers for wanting out, but I don't blame the Red Sox for wanting to move on from him and ask him to move himself around for the team, because I mean, nobody knew that Casas was going to get hurt, and I don't blame him for asking him to pick up a first base glove, excuse me. But I don't blame Devers for getting irritated, because it's just human nature. Anyone would get irritated about getting asked to move around at times.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it depends the type of person. I guess we also gotta see his point of view because that probably pissed him off. But it's so crazy to see him doing anything for the Giants for a team that has never done anything for him. You get me? He
So
li-
go
it's
ahead.
crazy. He's willing to do. He hasn't played third this whole year. He doesn't have his third baseman glove. And this year they asked in the middle of a game against the Rockies, the Giants manager asked him to play third. And bro decided to grab Max Chapman's glove and play third. You see what I mean? I'm like, come on, man. Now you're willing to do anything for the Giants, a team that is not even going to the postseason. Or maybe you don't want to go to the postseason, and maybe you're just a regular season guy. Maybe that's what you like seeing. But
Well,
at the end of the day, I feel like it's a win.
I
I feel
mean,
like it's a win because we still made it to the postseason, and we don't have this negativity type of player in our roster anymore. You get me? I know he's a superstar. I know he is, but we just got to keep moving forward, man. And we made it to the postseason.
the the trade was good for both sides. Again, I don't blame the
Yeah,
Bucks for asking him to be flexible, but I don't blame him for getting a little bit annoyed. But one thing's for sure, after that trade happened, the team got closer than ever. The vibes were high from middle of
different, man. Yeah.
the season, and that definitely played a part in us making the playoffs. I do have a little bit of, uh, remorsefulness on the situation, given how the series against the Yankees went. where you feel like if we had a guy like Devers in the lineup, he absolutely could have made a difference. I mean, we missed his power for sure the last
No,
3 days
yeah,
of the season, so that's something we need to address. But you know,
another thing is
it
that
can happen.
that we played really close games against the Yankees. It wasn't like, oh, they beat us 10-0. It wasn't like 5-0. No, no, no. Game one was a two-run game. Two-run game. We won by a two-run lead. Game two, we lost by 1 run. It could have been different if Devers was in that lineup. You get me? Like with bases loaded. Um, you remember when we had bases loaded and in those situations, you imagine it could have been so different with Devers because Devers is a person that knows how to hit, especially at Yankee Stadium. So I wouldn't be surprised if he hits a moonshot right there, and that's game. But you could tell we needed his power, but also it's like the probably would have never worked out if we kept him. And I know the team didn't trade him because of money. It wasn't because of the money. The team traded him because the situation was getting bad with him. John Henry had to go to Kansas City at some point, literally to have a one-on-one meeting. When have you ever seen that before?
So it
Yeah,
is what it is. Both sides have moved on. I think both sides are happy with the outcome as of right now, but it remains to be seen how that trade ages in probably the next 5 to 10 years. But the last thing we're going to talk about in terms of ugliness from this Red Sox season is the defense and the errors yet again from this team. The Red Sox led the MLB in the regular season with 116 errors. That is 6 more than the second closest team, the Colorado Rockies, who finished with 110 errors. I mean, just absolutely unacceptable. We talked about this, Lewis, in our last video, but the defense from the Red Sox in the 2020s as a whole so far has been horrendous. And, we're able to sort of look past that this year and in 2021 because we made the playoffs, but like it really came back to screw us in the playoffs. I mean,
yeah,
seen the clips already. Duran, dropping the fly ball from Judge that extended that inning and a run scored. Game three, Duran jogging to left on a stand hit that turned into a double. Yes, Giancarlo Stanton, one of the slowest players in baseball, legged out a double because Duran didn't hustle to the ball. Story towards the end of the season, starting to have some throwing errors from short. He finished the season with 19 errors. For all the good Story did, that was just one thing that I could tell was going downhill towards the end of the season. Rafaela in the final game, kicking off that 4-run fourth inning, taking the terrible route to
yeah.
that short fly ball, and then not being able to catch it. Um, just a lot needs to be better. Like we can't keep doing this defensively if we want to be a serious contending baseball team. Like we were able to get past this and make the playoffs, but if you want to win a World Series, you got to play good defense, and this keeps costing us ball games, and this can't keep happening. This needs to be better, and there's no excuses because whether we bring back Bregman or not, if we bring him back, that's a Gold Glover you have at third, but you will always have a Gold Glover in center and Rafaela. And assuming Wilyer Abreu's on the team next year, you have a Gold Glover in right as well. So I know Rafaela doesn't have a Gold Glove right now. I think he'll win the one in center, but
I mean, he should be, man. He did his job.
the
He's
point is,
literally the best outfielder in the league. He
our
should.
most, our defense is capable of being one of the better defenses in the MLB based on the personnel we have, and we need to start playing like it.
No, yeah, and I feel like even though I feel like the first half we did a lot of errors, but I feel like on the second half we did a better job. We were doing better and better at defense, and especially in the end. At some point, we were playing really good defense, but we still gotta work on it because you can't like it's been a roller coaster season. It was a roller coaster. You get me? At some point, we literally had a different team, but the team that ended the season was like for the second half. I feel like did a better job at the defense, but there was so much errors already in the first half that we were gonna keep those. We were gonna be like a top 3 team in errors. You get me? Because we did so much in the first half, but I felt like we did better and better at the defense. Like I believe in my outfielders. I mean, sometimes Jaron Durant scares me. I'm not gonna lie with you, man. Like you could tell that Rafaelas is confident. You get me? Sometimes Durant like glitches a little. I don't know if it's because he was an infielder coming up to the when he was in the minors, but I see Rafaela Abreu. I know the ball is hit to them. I know they have a pretty good chance, but the only one that I'm really scared of is Durant because he glitches a little. Even though he should be a really good piece because he flies. You get me? Like, but you saw that error that happened in the wild card series, so that was just at that point we just gotta we gotta try to be better at that. Be better at that. But yeah, but also the infield, Campbell did too many errors at second base. He did a lot. Story, he did some errors as well, throwing the ball away. Yeah, like that. His errors were majority of like throwing the ball away, like behind first and stuff like that. But I thought at some point we had Abraham Toro playing first. His defense wasn't that good. Bregman at first was also doing a lot of errors as well, but he fixed that at the end of the day because he's a Gold Glover, and not everything's gonna go perfect. I
So, how would you, if you could describe this Red Sox, this is what we'll wrap up with. If you could describe this Red Sox season in one word, how would you describe it? What word would you use to describe it?
One word.
One word.
Oh my god, I feel like I will be like not a roller coaster because
That's the word I was thinking of. You stole mine.
yeah, I was thinking of that, but I mean, this team at the end of the day made it when no one expected us to make it. So I feel like it's a step forward. Like we keep building that, we going to be fine. You get me? It's a step forward in the organization, but I don't know what type of word to use.
Maybe like progress.
Yeah, yeah, progress. That's fine. And then depending on the off season, if we do more moves, it's gonna be even better. Especially with our rookie players that were rookies, they literally learned. You get me? They're gonna be better. They're going to be better. Rafaela's going to be better. Rafaela is Bayo's gonna be better. You get me? We're improving every year. Early's gonna be better. Payne Soli's gonna be better. Everyone's good. Everyone's going to be better because we're young and we were just we're like kids, literally kids. You get me? The Yankees, what? The Yankees are not kids. The Yankees are literally people that are so used to elimination games. You get me? This team has never been in. What does rough? This team, what? This team has never felt those type of games of win or go home. The Yankees have done that plenty of times. They're used to that. Volpe is used to that, and he only has 3 years in the big leagues or 4 years. And Volpe could tell you he has a bunch of experience of losing a win or go home game. You get me? That's also important, but we also build from that. You get me? Um, the Yankees, instead of building, I don't know what they do, but as an organization, like you build that. You see, like Rafael, you see Bayo, they're probably gonna come in mad next year. They're probably gonna come in mad. They left this year with a bad taste in their mouth. You get me? Everyone's gonna come like is going to try to be better, way better. Try work harder because you know what's the goal? The goal is to have a deep run in the postseason and win the World Series. And everyone over here in the Red Sox had a bad taste of what just happened against the Yankees. And hopefully, John Henry feels the same way because we just lost to the Yankees. And hopefully, that's it. I'm going crazy. I'm signing this person. I'm trading for. You see what I mean? Hopefully, it's like that for John Henry as well. So I'll say progress. Yes, I would say that's my word. What's your word?
Hopeful. I'm not 100% convinced. Well, I'm let me phrase it like I'm hopeful for the future based on what I saw this season. I'm hopeful because of what you said with the progress from I'm using your word too now, with the progress from Roman Anthony, Peyton Tolley, Connolly early, potentially at the back end of the rotation, Brian Bayo improving, Garrett Crochet, um, Carlos Narvaez even behind the plate. Like I'm hopeful. I mean, obviously, hope is not a plan, as a lot of people like to say. Like, we actually have to go out there and perform again next year. We can't just rest on the fact that we made the playoffs this year and expect to
No,
be.
yeah, we gotta build.
And I love that Breslow said that at the end of season press conference. Like, we have to go out there and compete again next year. Nothing's going to be handed to us. But for the first time in a long time with the Red Sox, I am hopeful for the future. And I hope that this is the start of a dynasty.
Yeah, yeah, that's how it feels. It feels like that. I mean, not every dynasty wins it right away. No, they go through something. Like you see the Boston Celtics. You see what I mean. You see the Houston Astros. They lost wild card series. They lost,
You
but
can't
they
win
keep
every
they
year.
keep building up. They lost to the Kansas City Royals in the division series when before they started winning a lot of before they started attending to every American League Championship Series. I remember they beat the Yankees in the wild card series, and then they went to the Royals, and the Royals beat them, and the Royals end up becoming World Series champions. But then I remember the next year, oh, here comes the Astros. You get me? Here comes this dynasty. Oh, they won 2017, and since that time they've been going. They've been going to the World Series and to the American League Championship Series. Like you see what I mean? That's the start of something, and hopefully this is the start of something. Because at the end of the day, we didn't have a Roman Anthony in that field. We didn't. You see what I mean? It could have been so different. But it's like that's how things starts. I mean, nothing starts with only just winning. You gotta suffer. The team has to suffer, especially when it's young. They have to when it's a young team that has never experienced pumping bottles before, and when they pop bottles and the exit from the because the mission was literally just to be in the make it to the playoffs. They did it, but you already know now that they have that taste, they know how it feels. You saw how crazy they went when they made it to the playoffs. The Yankees didn't go crazy. They're used to making it. You get me? They're probably gonna go crazy if they go to the World Series. You get me? But you could tell we took that was it felt like making the playoffs was our World Series. That's how it felt. We got Roman Anthony in Lansdowne Street at Loco drinking. You see what I mean? We had literally the whole team at Locos. So imagine that. It felt like it was a World Series. And it took us 4 years. So you get me? It's such a young team. But next year, I bet you that when we make the postseason, just when we make it, we're not going to be going crazy because we know how this feels. We know how it tastes. So we should definitely like we should we're not aiming just to aim. We're not aiming just to make the postseason. We're aiming to win the whole thing. You get what I mean? So that's going to be a different mentality, especially after this bad taste of losing. Especially half of the team literally everyone no one has felt that type of pressure like that type of losing. No one has, especially maybe Bregman's story and Nathaniel Lowe, they had that experience, but then the rest of the team doesn't know how it feels to lose like that. You get me? But yeah, that's how you start a villain. That's how you start of oh, you eliminated us. Get ready for next year.
Right.
that's
We
how
will
that's how you start a villain.
we will see what the future holds for the Red Sox, but that wraps up our coverage here on Chasing the Monster of the 2025 Red Sox season. I just want to thank everyone for their support. I know we went in and out of recording videos, but this is our first year doing it, and I know I joined in a little bit later, but Lewis, just great job pumping out content. Obviously, shout out to Griffin as well. I'm sure I'm missing the names of other people that helped you with this, but just shout out to everyone who's helped contributed so far to the Chasing the Monster podcast. This is only the beginning, and well, we wish the Red Sox were still playing. We think there's a lot of hope around the team. So we hope that you take the journey with us. We are not going away, though. We are going to keep posting videos and making
Of
content
course.
for you guys in the off season. The
About
next
the free agents, about the trade deadline, the winter meetings.
the
It's gonna be a
next
blast, especially ownership apparently is going to do stuff. So they should, because we have a good team. We should definitely add, but it's gonna be interesting with the Alex Bremen situation. It's gonna be really a fun off season, and let's see what happens. It's gonna be a good one.
So the next video we'll do will be a off-season preview / free agency wish list for the Red Sox. Should be a good one. Um, and yeah, we'll keep putting out these videos for you guys. The future is bright with the Red Sox, and we can't wait to keep making videos on them. But that is going to do it for us today. If you like these videos, make sure to like them, subscribe, tell your friends to like and subscribe, and we'll be back at you with another video very soon, talking all things Sox like we always do. Alongside Lewis, I'm David. Hope you all have a great day and take care.
Peace.